What is up, guys? It's the Johngasm coming at you today with another conspiracy theory. I know what you guys are thinking. John, where have you been these past couple weeks? And I will answer that in more detail in another episode of Let's Talk coming soon. But basically, I have been busy as balls at school. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. I am here to talk about this Saved by the Bell theory. Before I jump into the theory, you may be wondering, hey, why is the angle for this video so weird? Why is it all distorted and have a fisheye effect? The answer to that is simple. It's because I got a GoPro. Basically, the issue is that I just got this yesterday. I don't know how to take off the fisheye effect. All I'm finding is that you can take it off once it is in, once the file is in the computer. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to do that. So I'm sorry if you don't like this angle effect, but that's the price that you're sacrificing to have me in HD. But enough talking, let's jump right into this theory. Now for the Saved by the Bell theory, the kind of interesting thing about it is that not a single one of you guys have actually requested me to do it, I don't think. But that's kind of good, right? Because I'm kind of throwing a curveball at you. You never know where I'm gonna go. But actually, I just thought that this theory was kind of interesting and kind of weird. And being that I watched like 4 or 5 episodes of Saved by the Bell growing up, I figured, hey, this almost kind of pertains to my childhood, so let's do it. But without further ado, it is time to jump into the theory. Saved by the Bell never happened. Now, if you guys don't know what Saved by the Bell is, it is basically a show that follows a bunch of high school students, I believe, all the way through high school from freshman year to senior year. It was one of those Saturday morning shows, and a lot of people used to like it, and it used to be really popular. But before Saved by the Bell came out, there was actually another show that the main character, Zach Morris, along with Screech and a couple of other characters were on, called Good Morning, Miss Bliss. Now, the only huge similarity between the shows is the fact that it had the same characters. However, if you really compare them, you start to see that the differences is what makes you realize that there is in fact a conspiracy behind them. The main premise of the show Miss Bliss was that Zach was a middle schooler. He was always causing trouble. He would always have these devious plans to like just wreak havoc, and he would always be stopped by the character Miss Bliss. Zach was constantly embarrassed in front of his classmates, and his only 2 friends, Mickey and Nikki, were always willing to put him in his place and try to get him to behave. He's also a child of divorce and has a brother. Now in Good Morning, Miss Bliss, Zach goes to school in a boring Indiana suburb. In Saved by the Bell, he goes to a school called Bayside High, which is in sunny California. Now we've addressed in the Miss Bliss show that Zach is kind of a loser, but in Saved by the Bell, Zach is the alpha male. He's a genius. He excels at absolutely everything he does, whether it's grades or sports or, according to this article, casual racism. He gets away with all of his plots and schemes because the only authority figure who ever knows what he's doing is the character Mr. Bealding, who, if we're being honest, is a complete idiot. Zach is the most popular kid in school and basically just the person to be. His original only 2 friends, Mikey and Nikki, I said Mickey earlier, I meant Mikey and Nikki, aren't even mentioned throughout the entire Saved by the Bell series, and his arch rival Slater from the Miss Bliss series is now his lackey. Basically just one of his henchmen he tells to do whatever he wants. And the character Screech just kind of resumes his role as being really, really weird, and appearing on Celebrity Boxing a couple years later. The characters basically take on polar opposite roles or are creative out of nowhere, like Jessie, who loves Zach like a best friend, Kelly, who loves Zach like a boyfriend, and she's just eventually gone and replaced by the character Tori, who loves Zach like a boyfriend and eventually again just disappears. And Mr. Bealding, the only authority figure in the show, is trying to be Zach's best friend. His parents, unlike in Miss Bliss, where they're divorced, and Saved by the Bell are happily married, and he doesn't have a brother, but instead he's an only child and gets all of the attention from his parents. Despite not being very smart in school, Zach is able to prove that he's a genius by getting an SAT score of 1,502, a score that is literally impossible. Now, before I go on with the theory, let me address the fact that I know I look terrible in this video. I have the camera hooked up to a display right now. The display is actually my phone, kind of interesting, and I can see myself. And I look ridiculous. Like, you don't have to comment down below saying, John, are you sick? Because I'm not. I look like a homeless person who just got out of the shower, or maybe who hasn't showered in a really long time, but my self-esteem is plummeting at an alarming rate right now. Now, according to this theory, Saved by the Bell is nothing more than Zach Morris's fantasy of what his life could be like. It is kind of interesting that any problem that he has in the show Miss Bliss just doesn't exist in Saved by the Bell. And any problems he has in Saved by the Bell, like Tori or Kelly dumping him, or him not doing well on some of his tests before his SAT comes back and proves that he's an absolute all-star genius to an impossible degree, any problems like that are just his subconscious trying to break through and remind him that this is not reality. And it's kind of interesting because if you read the lyrics to the theme song, it even hints at the fact that this is not Zach's real life and kind of shares what his life is actually like. It starts off with him being late for school. He grabs all his books and throws them in his bag. He runs outside just to see the school bus flying by and not giving a hoot about him. When the teacher gives out a test, he knows that he's going to fail and he just sinks down in his chair hoping that she won't notice him. The fact that the song sings about these events doesn't really make sense to be a part of Bayside High. Zach has literally never had a bad day at this high school before. Unlike the lyrics in the song, if the teacher gives him a test, he is not a mess. He just convinces the teacher to turn the test into a bake-off, and then he wins the bake-off because he cheats. The only way that the song really pertains to the show is at the very beginning and the very end. It opens up by saying, when I wake up in the morning, the alarm gives me a warning, like it's saying, hey, you're back in the real world, and it describes his absolutely miserable life throughout all of his normal daily activities, which would be what happens in the show Miss Bliss. And then at the end of the song, it says, I'm all right because I'm saved by the bell, meaning that he is saved by the school bell, he gets released to go back home, and at home, he gets to fantasize about what his life could actually be like. And basically, that's the theory. And honestly, when you watch some of the episodes of Saved by the Bell and you see how perfect everything goes, and it's almost like it is in a dream-like atmosphere for Zach Morris. A lot of things go wrong for his friends, some things go wrong for him, but in the end, everyone that he cares about, including himself, has a happy ending. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to apologize again for having such a huge gap between this video and my 10,000 subscriber video. It's been like 3 weeks or a month now. On the bright side though, summer is coming up and I am going to start making videos 3 days a week minimum. I told you guys that if I got to 10,000 subscribers by June, I was going to quit my job and only do YouTube all summer. I'm at over 17,000 subscribers right now. I think as of me recording this video, I'm at 17,600. I'm not trying to seem cocky or anything by saying that, but you guys have gotten me to this point. I love you so much for it. As usual, rate, comment, subscribe, follow me on all the social medias, links in the description below, especially Twitter, because I want a bunch of Twitter followers, because I'm pretty sure that followers on Twitter is directly correlated to how happy a teenager is. Make sure you comment in the comment section down below what kind of video you guys want to see next. It'll probably be another conspiracy theory, but there will also be Secrets of Cinemas getting uploaded. And that one series that I'm starting this summer that I'm very excited to tell you about. It's kind of like the conspiracy theories, but just a little bit different. That was creepy. Again, thank you guys for watching. I love you all. Stay beautiful, stay awesome, and stay fresh.